This Power Rangers comic book review is created for and intended for an adult audience.
She realizes, however, that someone I don't like... That's the kind of blooper that bugs me, where it's like, I said it right, but there was a tone there that I meant to inflect, and I didn't remember it until I had already said it. Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another comically long review. With 3 comics a month coming out that have Power Rangers in them, I've started to notice that the 3 are kind of heading off in different directions and kind of doing different things. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover is going to be our popcorn fun comic. Go-Go Power Rangers is sticking a little closer to the show with its slightly cheesy tone, but earnestness nonetheless. But that leaves us with the line that started it all, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, as it approaches its 50th issue. MMPR is the comic series that's been telling the story that us adult fans have always wanted. A more serious and mature take on the material that leaves our eyes growing wider and wider as we go from page to page. Did this issue continue that trend? Well, let me go grab some Visine, and we'll take a look at Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue number 46. The covers start off with a sort of split focus on Jason, with an armored Red Ranger foil helmet cover and the Omega Red Rangers trading card. The story cover features the Dino Charge Rangers fighting Vivix and then Snide in the Amber Beach Dinosaur Museum, as the emissaries continue to talk about merely being custodians of possibility that don't dictate the path of existence, just protect it in the first place. The main cover is ominous. The Anointed stand facing us with glowing eyes, Kiya holding the blue emissary's cloak. The Rangers seem to have caught up with Tommy on planet somewhere. Only kidding. Really, the unspecific caption kind of gives away what this is, seeing as it's just a regular-looking city, and we would assume this was Angel Grove unless we were told otherwise. The Rangers are in their Zords fighting a giant snake that seems to end every sentence with a hissed, "Yes?" It's not going well. Everything's on fire, and the Zords are getting beaten around. Tommy comes to the rescue in the White Tiger Zord. Gee, I wonder if that white light quest over in Go-Go is going to work out for Tommy. The snake faces up on Tommy, but he hops out of his Zord and calls it, telling Alpha to end the simulation. Seeing as the city is impersonating the 12th sequel to Towering Inferno, he's going to call this one a loss. Aisha and Rocky apologize, talking about how they're still getting used to their Zord controls. Kim kind of tells them off, saying they should be practicing on their own, somehow, and points out the whole point of this exercise was to beat a giant monster without Tommy's help. She tells them to run it again, but Tommy countermands that, ending practice for the day so everyone can go home and rest. Kim confronts Tommy after the others leave. Tommy's in good spirits, figuring the team needed a break and they could go on a date. Kim says the entire point of the exercise was for all of the veterans to hold back. The newbies won't learn anything if the vets keep saving them. Tommy tells her to relax. If the forces of evil are down to Goldar as their leader, the 2 of them can handle him. He once thought that the first mistake they ever made meant game over. Now, hey, the Omega Rangers are out there, so just relax and have some fun. Kim's not on board. Sure, the white light has made Tommy the greatest Ranger ever or something, but the new folks are Rangers as well, and they want a chance to prove themselves worthy. At the Shack of Evil, the bad guys have bullied Squad into testing Lord Zedd's repaired staff on a scarecrow that's basically a bucket with an angry face sitting on a pole. The results are mixed. The bucket partially monsterfies, but not usefully. But hey, Squat lived. On Safe Haven, G11 heads up to the roof looking for the emissary. At first, it thinks the emissary is goofing off with children, but then it sees the truth. The emissary sits on the roof, turned to stone. G shows emotion, cradling the emissary, who somewhat poignantly died while demonstrating Mighty Morphin Blue. It occurs that Kiya attacked the emissary on the shore, not on the roof, so he either seems to have made his way up there or to have been placed there to be found. And indeed, Ji calls the Rangers for help, but the transmission cuts off suddenly. The Rangers are doing the Habitat for Humanoidry thing and quickly lose track of that, focusing instead on how Trini never answered Kim's message. Zach points out that the whole situation is a catch-22. Either the Mighty Morphin team think that the three are the Omega Rangers and hate them for lying about where they went, or they don't and hate them for not coming back to help. Trini points out that at least they don't have to return to Earth anytime soon. Billy and Kim talk in the juice bar as she does gymnastics. Billy almost has the bad guys tracked down. Kim says Tommy will be thrilled, since he's acting like they can just stop being Rangers when they're taken care of. She realizes, however, that someone worse could follow. Billy is on that same, hey, whatever, Omega Rangers vibe as Tommy, but Kim points out an interesting thing with that. Who are they? So I guess they don't know. Check. How would they go about contacting them? How can they assume that they'd just show up again if they were needed? For her part, Kim isn't going to just sit back and let another team of Rangers take the stage. But, Billy asks, won't they all need to eventually? Jason, Trini, and Zach were able to give up the Ranger life, as far as they know anyway. And while he used to worry about not being a Ranger, Billy would like to go to college someday. Life changes and they may not be Rangers forever. He asked what Kim thinks her life would be without monsters. She hasn't let herself think that far ahead. She'd be able to return to gymnastics as her other main activity, but she says that that feels selfish. Gymnastics seems like nothing in comparison to being a Ranger. Billy tells her it's not selfish to do what she was born to do. Being a Ranger is a gift, not a prison sentence. I'd call it more of a duty than a gift, not that there aren't positives to it, but anyway, that's semantics. Kim says she gets the feeling that even if she was done being a Ranger, it'll never be done with her. Back on Safe Haven, the Rangers are wandering through the woods for some reason that is never explained. Trini happens upon the emissary's cloak, which his body was wearing the last time we saw it. Jason says they need to show it to Ji, and Garrison Vox says he can show Ji to them. What's left, anyway. The Rangers say they need Kiya, and she shows up right behind them. Vox is itching for a fight, but warns them to back down, and they won't hurt them. Jason tells the team to morph, and Kiya punches him into and through the dirt. Zach and Trini are stunned, but Kiya drops the event title, saying she did what was necessary. She begs them, as a friend, to stand down. The Rangers take in Kiya's betrayal. She let the empowered out. She killed Ji. She killed the blue emissary. She says the emissaries and Rangers had their chance to protect the universe and nearly destroyed it. Zach and Trini morph and leap into the fight. Zach jumps at Vox, who punches him across the helmet, but takes a punch to the face himself. Vox kicks Zach through several trees, but Zach drew blood and Vox respects that. Kiya demands their morphers, but Trini can't understand why she's doing this. Kiya says they only made her a Ranger to keep her contained. Trini is incredulous. They stopped Draken, glued the universe back together, and have been patching the leaks, and they're to be blamed for what happened? But Kiya says a new Draken is set to emerge and shatter the grid all over again, and she won't let it happen. She calls for Kavotis, who begs the Rangers' forgiveness and zaps them. Remember, his energy was channeled into a weapon that blew up a spaceship. Ow! Kiya tells the Rangers the cracks are not a mistake. It's the anointing of the grid's new champions. Trini isn't fazed, starting to tell Kiya that if she wants to stop them, she's going to have to kill them. But they are teleported away to their ship first. By who? That would be Ji. Ji's hand, that is. So it turns out that Ji's brain is in its hand, not its head. Kind of makes sense, though the hands get closer to more dangerous things than the head would, right? Anyway, Jason is actually very badly injured, needing immediate medical attention. Trini knows where they can go, but the people there are not going to be happy. Kiya is frustrated and implies that she was lying about being merciful. The Rangers were supposed to get a quick and painless death. Vox doesn't see that as any fun, and Kavotis apologizes for not finishing them, begging not to go back in the canister. Kiya doffs the emissary's cloak, saying they have preparations to make. Last time I said it felt like Bulk and Skull, starring Candace, were becoming a requisite step away from the story, but this time it is part of the story. They're on a field trip to a petrified forest, Candace keeping the two from ditching because it's historical. But the bus is stopped by Goldar, who zaps two motorcycles and the bus, turning them into fearsome-looking monsters. And the students are still inside the bus monster. The Rangers are having a meeting with Zordon, who assumes that at least some of them have come to resign. Tommy Moore wants to make sure that the Rangers are still needed. He wonders if the Omegas showed up because the Rangers fell short of expectations.
Expectations. Nothing is more devastating than how we imagine things are supposed to be.
Zordon dreamt of a day when his work would be done, when he didn't have to place Rangers in harm's way and could merge with the grid. But he says today is not that day. Then the command center is filled with light as a helmetless but morphed Zack and Trini teleport in with Jason, begging for their help. I know some of you might be getting a little tired of seeing this reaction at the end of a comic, but wowity wow wow wow, this is heavy stuff. Kiya's betrayal is treated with seriousness and emotion as the Rangers take in everything that she's done. Heck, we get a sad emotional moment from a literal robot.
I am an android, not a robot.
This issue, and this story in general, handles quiet moments so well. That conversation between Billy and Kim, two characters who we know do eventually move on from being Power Rangers, is poignant and really ties into the vibe of the team as a whole, trying to find its footing, even while wondering if they're still needed. The action is good. The Omega Rangers get a fight against the Anointed that shows them what they're up against, and we have an action hook for the next issue with the Automobile Monsters. This line is going from strength to strength, and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 46 gets a 5 out of 5. Next week, believe it or not, there is no comically long review. Or the week after that. Christmas this week, New Year's Day next week. But don't worry, if you can make it just 2 weeks without a comic review, you're going to be getting another 4 in a row. That's right, Boom is making up for 2 weeks without a Power Rangers comic by issuing 2 issues of Go-Go Power Rangers in the month of January, on the 15th and the 29th. But that means next time we're back to the Heroes in a Half Shell and the Teenagers with Attitude. Will Shredder's plot to take over the Green Ranger succeed? Find out when I take a look at Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Issue 2. And that is going to wrap up another comically long review. Thank you, heroes, so much as always for watching. Down in the comments below, let me know what you thought of this issue, as well as my review of it. What do you think of the bus monster? Is it a little silly? Does it look pretty fierce? How are the Rangers going to deal with fighting a monster that has humans inside it? Let me know what you think about all that down in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure you smack that thumbs up button and let me know that you enjoyed this video. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel to see all of my videos and ring that bell. Get your notifications set up so you'll be notified whenever I post brand new videos such as these comically long reviews. And if you'd like to lend any financial support to my channel, you can consider becoming one of my patrons. Head on over to patreon.com/orangerangervideos, where you'll see a whole list of my tiers and the various levels of support. Greatly appreciate that if you would do that for me. But if you can't do the monthly thing, I absolutely understand. Head on over to ko-fi.com/orangerangervideos, where you can buy me a coffee. Again, I have real coffee this time. That is actually delicious. Coffees are set to $3 a piece, and I greatly appreciate any financial support I find at either of those sites. But if you can't do the financial support thing at all, especially around the holidays, totally understand that. Just share my videos, let people know about my channel, spread the word of the Orange Ranger, as weird as that sounds to say. I greatly appreciate the publicity and just letting people know that I'm out here doing these Power Rangers videos. Until next time, heroes, may the power protect you. With I checked 3 different websites to see if it was just being left off as a preview, and I completely lost track of where I was. Seeing as the city is impersonating the 12th seat, she tells them to run it again, but Tommy Zach points out the whole situation is a catch-22. Either the old team, but the transition, wow. So it turns out that G's brain is in his hand, oops. Tommy wants to make